A little bit about my record, Yemaya, We All Come From the Goddess. I've finished the music. At first, I wanted to make 9 or 10 tracks of just music with lyrics and music with vocals. But yeah, just today I used 4 instrumentals. So I made 2 separate instrumentals and then used 2 instrumentals from songs that I'd already pushed up there. So there's 4 instrumentals on one side of the vinyl record and maybe 1 song on the B side with lyrics. And then on the other side there's 5 tracks or 6 tracks on ones with lyrics. And on this record I'm getting my colleague, co-collaborator, co-creator and awesome genuine soul, Sarah Silva, to do the visuals once again. And this album exists in New Cycle's world. So if you're familiar with New Cycle, which a lot of people aren't, but I released an album with visuals by Sarah Silva called New Cycle, and that had certain instruments used that are similar to the ones I used on this project, although the means of creating this album were a lot different to New Cycle. For this album, I used the Machine MK3 and UVI's plugin suite. For New Cycle, I used a piano, keyboard plugged into the computer, and used UVI's plugin suite as well. The difference between UVI on New Cycle and UVI on Yemaya, We All Come From the Goddess is that the UVI plugins I used on We All Come From the Goddess are completely different plugins, but they sound similar because I used like a cassette tape, what would you call it, like effect, where like the vocals are recorded into like a cassette sounding plugin called Tape Color by UVI. Tape Color saturates the signal with audio artifacts that make it sound like it's getting played through a vinyl record player of an old type, or Tascam Porter Studio or something like that. And Yemaya, We All Come From the Goddess starts out with a chant that some people are familiar with. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. And that introduces the album. That's the only lyric on the first track. You can hear all of it now if you go to my Bandcamp at klanderson.bandcamp.com. Second track is called Mother of Souls. That's a song about the potential that what we know as geography might be, what we know as geology might be, and potentially geography, might be biology, might be actual parts of humans from ancient days that have solidified into rock. That's just a running theory amongst some peers on the internet. However, it doesn't take that idea that seriously, and also sings about love and partnership as well, which the whole album does. Then it goes into a song called The Pearl of the Woman God, which is a love song and the most like sexually explicit song on the album. And then track 5 is called 444, and track 4 is 444 now, I just realized. And the thing about 444 is I wanted the vocals to sound so clear but also have like an echo. So I used dirt, I used by Native Instruments, I use Dirt, which is a plugin that saturates the signal with artifacts that are distorted. And I also used Ableton's stock echo. The whole album is mastered with Ableton standard, Ableton 12 standard. And I use plugins like a limiter, sometimes a compressor to get the signals, the levels to peak and stuff. And then use the limiter to bring down that peak. I reckon it sounds pretty good. The difference between the tracks is pretty noticeable, which gives them their own identity. For mastering, I also used Soothe 2 by Oak Sound, which is a great plugin for also making vocals stand out more in a mix, because it, what do you call that? Like frequencies, like, you know, when you listen to music and you can hear like different frequencies kind of peeking out of the mix that make it sound kind of horrible. Soothe 2 can bring those artifacts down. I've used artifacts a lot in this video. The two last tracks on the album that have lyrics is The Mindless Serenade and Invincible Heart. And Invincible Heart is a bit more of a demo than it is a actual song. But that's why I want to put it on side B. But if I can't put it on side B, it doesn't fit or something on the one record, I'll put it on side A. And The Mindless Serenade, that's kind of a strange one as well, because I used auto-tune on it. I wanted to give it a rough auto-tune sound with a hard auto-tune effect, so it sounds very like strange, but it's a love song. And then you got an Imperfections instrumental, which is the instrumental I made today on the 28th of May, 2026. And Yemaya instrumental is the first song I ever made for this album, which started out as a demo, but now I've just called it the instrumental because it was an instrumental demo, but now it just stands as a song on the album that is labeled instrumental, but it is what it is. And then 444 instrumental and Mother of Souls instrumental. And the little outline of the album I've got written down on Bandcamp is: the album Yemaya is a goddess worship devotional that spans several genres, including but not limited to electronica, spiritual devotional, hip-hop, folktronica, and art pop. I wrote this album to describe a certain level of passion that comes with romance and a love of a higher power. All the instruments in this project are tuned between 443.90 Hz and 445 Hz, evening out at about 444 Hz. The differences between the slight tunings of the instruments give the record a slight and almost unnoticeable quality of being raw, like jamming out on a band. The project was created purely on the MK3 machine, some guitar, and a Rode NT1 microphone. The plugins are almost exclusively UVI's plugins. Some examples of the plugins used are Synth Anthology, Quadra, Cameo, and Volcom. I used a massive amount of tricks for the trade I've picked up from raw improvisation and messing around over the last 5 years with machine software and hardware. The other plugins used apart from UVI's library are Native Instruments, Soothe 2 by Oak Sound for the beginning of the mastering chain, Ableton stock plugins for the majority of the mastering process, not just 12, not Suite 12, sorry, just standard. And the album goes deep into my production bag of tricks and charms. Released July 17th, 2026. Releases July 2017, 2026. It's not going to release on July 17. I was just giving myself a bit of breathing room when I was creating the record. It'll probably release next week. Yeah, as I said, I'm working with Sarah Silver for the visuals, and what I asked her to do was to create like a goddess, some kind of goddess individual with long flowing hair, potentially, with children around her, like children's faces all around her. But that's just when I give Sarah an idea of what I want, whether it's clothing or whether it's artwork for vinyls or anything, whatever I ask of her, or character design, I might give her the tiniest idea, and then she goes off and just does something with that idea in mind, but she creates something totally unique, which is what I love about our relationship. She'll come back with something that is tried and true, but is beyond what I wanted. Like, she goes above and beyond in terms of doing what I like. Another thing I like about Sarah is I'm asking her for a photo of her, like a nice photo of her to put in the booklet, and I've got this wrote about her. The visuals of this album artwork are made by Sarah Silva, aka Sarah Graça Silva from Portugal. She's a true spiritual being that is in essence one of the most incredible people I've ever had the pleasure of working with or knowing. Her artworks are visuals of people made with etched acrylic paint, usually with shiny motifs and striking details. Also available are her amazing upcycled clothing, and her fashion sensibilities are enormous. She also is an energetically gifted being who can read energy at an individual's request. For all inquiries, email her at sarah.silv@gmail.com. And yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say when I said that. Another thing I like about her is I just like heaps of stuff about her. Yeah, that was awkward. I've been working on the booklet just today. I've got some stuff written about myself, which I always feel weird about, and I've got that Bandcamp description on the first page of Yemaya's guidebook. And now I'm just waiting for the album artwork, which I'll give her a payment and then she'll get started on. And yeah, it's going to be an amazing album, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see ya maybe in a couple of days. Bye-bye.